Hello, today I will give you a tutorial on the MDC, basic functions of the MDC, and I will fire up the MDC and will give you a tutorial on how to do basic projective mapping and how to use presets and the timeline, move the mirror, do your texture corrections, change the media and all things like that. You will see it's very easy once you get used to the basic concepts of the MDC program. I just started the MDC program without any template or something like that, so it's plain. I will save the project as demo version 2. Just save it. Yes, already done that. So the first thing, I start from left to right, is media. If you want to project something, we need media, and you can always load media by double clicking, and once you have opened, you can choose it like in any other program. Just you control to select multiple or just select it like that. It depends on the operating system how you're using the MDC. So just open it and you will see the media gets loaded. When you hover over a media, on the bottom line you will see what kind of media it is and how long it is, how many frames it takes, what's the resolution, and some path information. Once you started MDC and it's not set up and there's no template or something like that, you have to set up your output. The output setup is depends on your operating system. If you're using the MDC console and load a template, it's quite easy because everything is set up and everything, you don't have to care about it. But for the Windows demo version, I try to explain it if you're using another screen or projector to show you output. If you press play, the output starts with a default size and it's white. The reason is because the map here is white by default. So first we have to set up the output. We have one output in X, one in Y, and we set it's the screen size. I do it here for demonstration, a small size. Just press output setup. Now the window gets rescaled. And now we have to move the output. I was pressing output and set size and position, and left click and hold it, drag it to the screen, to the other screen where you want the output to be. I'm leaving it here because I don't have a projector connected now to the system, so we want to see what would be on the projector. If you're using a projector on the other screen or other head of your system, just move it all the way to the projector. You can see it outside. Then set position and unlock set position and size, and then you do full screen. So the image gets scaled to the full screen resolution of your projector, so you don't have to set the exact size of the output. Okay, so once you're done, best is to save the project as your template for further use, because you don't have to do all the output setup again and again every time you want to start a new project. That's why I would recommend to do let's say template setup. The next thing we want to do is to do DMX. DMX is used for controlling the mirror. You don't have to use DMX if you don't use a mirror head, but every time you use MDC you're using a mirror head. But DMX setup is also important because if you want to load other fixtures of other devices, other light sources, or many more projectors than one, or more mirror heads than one, you have to do your DMX setup, and I explain it here. We load a new fixture. So let's say we have mirror head 1 starting with DMX address 1, and you see this is mirror 1, and the next thing is we have to do the ArtNet settings. Here you have to select the device IP address of your computer which is connected to the ArtNet or the mirror head. Again, if you're using the MDC media on demand control system, you don't have to care about that. Everything is set up and everything should work. If you're using the Windows version, you have to set up your network device. This is covered in another tutorial, and we have a PDF which explains how to set up the network device on your Windows. I don't cover it here. Just set it right that. Now I'm connected to my mirror. I can close it and I save the project again. Let's say this is a template. Let's do it. let's say template for tutorial. Okay, now we can start working. We have media, we have DMX, we can move our mirror around. I double click inside this window so it gets detached. If I click here, it's back. Okay, so I can move my mirror around now. So I have the timeline here, my media here. So the basic concept of MDC is you have a map, and the map has a special state which calls output mapping or projection mapping, and you can save this state inside a preset. But a preset can not only hold a map, which holds a media, it can also save DMX or other states of the program. I will show you how it works. The first thing, let's start with maps. A map is an instant that holds media. So when I press map, you see on the output it's a white screen, white map now, as you see here. If I click the eye icon, you see the map goes on and off. The red X here is copyright protection because I'm using a not registered version, because it's a demo version, so there is an X. This icon here turns the mapping points to gray, which means they are not active, so you cannot do anything with the map. If I click here, I select it. Oh, just one second. I select it and I move it around. I do F to reset it. So there is one important thing. You have output coordinates and you have texture coordinates. In this tutorial I will cover the texture coordinates only a little bit, and I will focus on the output coordinates, because the output coordinates is what you want if you want basic projective correction and things like that. So I turn over to output coordinates, and you see now I have the white screen, right rectangle. If I use my mouse wheel, I can scale it up and down, my map. If I press 1, I reduce the mapping points. If I press 2 over and over again, I can increase the mapping points. If I press 1 again, I reduce it. I would recommend to press 1 until you see 4 mapping points. The reason for that is because most of the time you only need 4, and in this tutorial we start only with very basic mapping. So I have my map here. I can, with left click and drag the mouse around, I can move it around. And if I move it like here and go to media and double click the test image, I do this and this, double click, you see the media inside of the map. I change it, red. So this is my map. If I press escape now and select just this corner point and move it around, you see that I'm transforming the image. You see here nasty kings inside, and that doesn't look that good. This is only the preview window. Here is the output window on the projector, and you see everything is smooth and fine. So this is just preview for working, and this is on the projector. I would recommend always to focus on the real image that is projected out on the projector or into your room, because this is the most important picture. This is the most important image, not the preview window here. So now what I try to explain is how to change media, how to save the states. You see, if the map is deselected like that and I go to media, I cannot change the media inside the map because there are no mapping points, and if I double click here, the system does not know where to put the media into which map because the map is not active. If I click here, now all the mapping points are selected, and now I can change the media. This is one of the mistakes that happens very often, that the media does not change because the map is not selected. The time values here are the map fading times for in fade and out fade. I use my mouse wheel to scale these values up or down. You can even use your numeric keypad or your keypad to enter the values. Let's say this is 4 seconds and 7 frames. If I now click media, you see it takes 4 seconds to change the media. So this is a fade time. The fade time of the media is a value of the map instance. I reduce it again. So if you need a longer fade time for a map, just increase this value. So now we have the fade time and we can change media. Good. On the next step, I will explain you presets. A preset, as I said before, is a state of the program, and it's very easy to work with presets because they are very, very, very handy and straightforward. I will start with a very basic thing. I select only the map line. This is important. In a preset, there are only the states stored which you select. So if you select this line, this is the map 1, layer 1, map 1 timeline, and let's say this is layer 1 audio, and this is layer 1 mirror 1. This means this is the state of this window of the mirror, and I click. So if I click just the first line, and let's say this is okay, I double click it, I have a preset. Now I move the map a little bit around, let's say this, and scale it down. Press again. Now I have two states. Once I click the first one and play the second one, the system transforms and morphs from one state to another. Again, if I'm in the first preset, let's press escape and click here and transform the map something like that, and update the preset, clicking here. Now the preset is updated. When I click again, now you see the state of the map is transformed again from one state to another. So let's save our project. Let's say this. Okay. So the basic concept is maps and presets for states. When you look here you see preset number 1. When I click here, preset number 2. No other line contains the string preset number 2, so there's only, only this line is saved into the preset. The values here on the right side are also important because these are the fade times for the presets. The first value is the map fade time. It's 1 second. The audio fade time is 1 second and the DMX fade time is 1 second. Since we don't have any audio or DMX inside the preset, these values are ignored right now. But when we click from here to here, you see our map changes. So now the map transform time should do something, and I will show you. I scale this value up with my mouse wheel to 7. So if I click here, the transformation to the saved state of preset 2 takes exactly 7 seconds. If I go back to preset 1, it takes 1 second, as it's stated here. If I reduce this value to 0 and 0 here, the transition is almost instant. At least it takes 1 frame to be exactly, but for the system it's 0, so it's a spontaneous or instant transformation from one state to another. This can be useful if you want fast and quick transitions from one to another, or you want to have a smooth transition. The nice thing from presets is you don't need keyframes. Inside of the program there are keyframes for the two presets, but the transition are always calculated perfectly. So it's very, very nice to work with presets, because if you move this over here, let's make another preset and move over here another preset. As you see, the 9 seconds which I used before are copied every time I do a new preset. Let's say it's 1. So it saves the state from the preset before, and now we have presets and we can move around. It's very nice. But what if I change the media? Let's say go to preset 1 and let's do our mirror head logo here. I double click it. Now I have the mirror head logo. If I want to mirror head logo on preset 1, I just update the preset now. Preset 2 is the test image. Preset 1 is the mirror head image. The fade time between, if you look closely, you will see that the map, that it fades from one state to another. Again, fade in, fade out, fade in, and this is instant. It takes a time. This time again is the map fade time here. if I reduce it, the transition is faster. So don't get confused by map transition times, which is here, and media fade times. The map transition can take very, very long, but the media fade time can be very, very quick. I will show you. Let's say this is preset 3, and let's go over to preset 4 in 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. To see it, I scale this a little bit up, move it here, and update it. Let's go back to preset 3, 1 second. And let's say in preset 3 we take the circle media, like this, update our preset. Now we go to preset 4, and you see the transition takes 4 seconds, but the transition to the new media is done in 1 second. If you want it to be the same time, let's say we want the transition from the media to one state to another to be exactly in the same time, we have to do also 4 seconds. So we go back to our media. Sorry, mistake. I go back. Let's say enter here 4 seconds. 4.2 should do it also. So I have my preset. Now I go back. See, and now we have 4 seconds. I go up. Now the transition between the media, this is one state, we have a special time, and now we go back, and now the transition takes place. I remove those two medias again, and we now start working only with 2 because it's always the same. If we have too many presets, we will get confused, so reduce them and I take the time a little bit down. Okay. Now, if we are using the mirror, we want the mirror on one position in the room and our projection on this position, and we want it corrected. So we have to take care of 2 things: storing the position of the mirror and storing the position or the mapping of the system. So what we are doing is quite easy. I press remove our presets we've done before, save our project, and we start fresh and new. We have our map. Let's delete this map also. It's quite easy. Let's do a new map. You can always delete a map, do a new map to start fresh if you want. So we have our map, and let's say we go with our mirror to this position. Now when you will see if you do this, your mirror moves around in the room and projecting this image. So let's go to something like that. Let's say this is a nice spot on the wall. You go to this position, and I will start with output mapping. Make sure you're in output. If this is gray, you're in output mode. Click in. I reduce the mapping points to 4, and let's say I have to do this to show the image correctly on the wall, so it's redistorted, so everything looks nice and perfect. I go over there and make sure I have selected the line of the map, and then I press Ctrl to select the mirror, also the 2 lines, map and mirror, and all I have to do is press double click on the preset, and now I have the preset for my map and my mirror. Now I move the mirror to another position in the room and do the perspective correction again. I just press escape, move it around so the correction on the wall is perfect, like this. I again make sure that I have selected both lines. For me, I do this, and I do again the mirror line. I always do it step by step, so I never make a mistake. At least I try. And then I press again, double click, and I have 2 presets. Now I want to confirm if everything works. I press preset 1, and as you see, the mapping changes and the position. If I press preset 2, the mirror moves and the image and the mapping changes. So this is the very basic concept: 2 positions with different projection mapping. So if you want to change the media on this certain position, let's do it. Go to preset 1 and let's say we want to show the mirrorhead logo over here. I've changed it. Now I update the preset by pressing the update button. Now I go to preset 2. There is the test image. Now I change the media, let's say, to this nice video. It's also the mirrorhead logo with a nice animation, and I do update of the preset. What we have now done is very nice and very basic. We have 2 positions with 2 corrections and 2 images. We just changed it. So if you need another, let's say here we want the white spot. Maybe we want to highlight something in the room. I update the preset, and now 2 positions with 2 media. If you take a close look, you will see that the transition, that the image will stay online. You will see the output all the time. When the mirror moves between the 2 positions, the output will stay on. So if you want to do something which is called black when move, is when you want the image, the output, to be hidden whenever the mirror moves. This is a very nice effect, so you don't know where the next image will come. So if you want that, you go to DMX and click this icon here. This is the black when move icon. Go to your preset where you are and update it. Now when you press here, we go to preset 2. If you look closely and go to DMX, this is not highlighted because the preset number 2 does not have this value set on when we saved it. So if you want it, we click, go to preset, update. And now when I press preset 1, take a look on the output, what happens. It fades out, and once the position is reached, you have to take a look here, the image fades in automatically. So here, it fades out, mirror moves, and then it fades in. If you look very close, you will see a delay. I click, mirror moves, but the picture will need some time to fade in. This is because there is a short delay inside. You can change it here, program settings. It's called black when move device latency and DMX black when move. This is milliseconds. So black when move fade in and fade out time is 250 milliseconds, and the device latency is 1000 milliseconds. The device latency and black when move latency is because you need a very nice fade in and fade out before the mirror starts to move, and because if you do it very fast, let's say you make a 180-degree turn with these 2 presets, the mirror can't be that fast within, let's say, half a second. So the physical speed differs from your programming speed. So there is a safety value of 1 second. So the system waits 1 second before you start to fade it. So again, before we had those 2 values for the maps, and this time we have here the fade times of the DMX. So let's say go back to position 1, and let's say we want the mirror to reach the position of preset number 2 in 10 seconds, and we also want to let the map fade in 10 seconds. What happens now is, if you press here, the system fades out and takes 10 seconds to reach the final position and do the map transformation. I go back to the position before, and you will see again in the timeline, you will notice what happens. Here you have the media, the first media. Now here you can see moving until we reach the final stop. Now we're here. This effect is very impressive if you don't use black when move. So we turn black when move on, update our preset, go back to preset number 1. And now we are going to press preset number 2. Now take a look on the output, because now it does not fade out. You see a very smooth transition. And if you have a mirror, if you're lucky and have a mirror connected, you will see the mirror moving and the image transforming from one state to another. It's very impressive. So this is the basic concept of presets, media and maps, and moving of the mirror. I hope you learned something now, and you can use it. Okay, this was this part of the tutorial, and yeah, let's see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.